Hello students, welcome to the class. Today we are going to study the next chapter, the flower, structure and function. So let me see what are the topics we are going to study in this chapter. So chapter overview, importance of flowers for the plants. Typical structural plan of a flower, the different parts of a flower. And then arrangement of these different parts like calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium in a flower. Then classification of flower on the basis of position of ovary and symmetry of the flower. Then we will study placentation and at last inflorescence. So in this first part we will study the importance, typical structural plan and some arrangement in calyx and corolla, as well as some classification also is there on the basis of the presence of floral parts. So let me start with the importance of flowers for the plants. Why are flowers important for the plants? Because flowers are the reproductive parts of the plants which are responsible for the production of gametes. As you have studied in the previous classes that there are two types of reproduction processes. First is the asexual reproduction and the another is the sexual reproduction. So in plants, sexual reproduction takes place with the help of these reproductive parts that we call them as flowers, because these parts, reproductive parts of flowers, they have male and female reproductive parts which produce the gametes, that is the male gamete and the female gamete that fuses, and then zygote is formed which develops into a seed, and then the seed develops into the plant. So here that all we will discuss all these things. So what is the flower? Flower is the reproductive part of a plant, and a flower is a modified shoot. Yes, this is the part of modified shoot in which the leaves are modified into the floral whorls. So or the floral parts are there. So what is a flower? Modified shoot in which the leaves are modified into the floral parts. Now a flower develops as a branch from a bud in the axil of a small leaf like structure called the bract. I will show you bract in the next slide of this lecture. So how does flower develop? The flower develops as a branch from a bud. So first the flower is in the form of a bud, and after that this bud develops into a complete flower. Now the classification. So classification is there of the plants, means the plants are classified on the basis of presence or absence of flowers on them. So trees which have flowers are called flowering plants, or we call them as angiosperm also. So trees with the flowers, they are known as the flowering plants, means they produce flowers. But there are some other trees also like pine, firs, redwoods, they do not have flowers. So they are known as the gymnosperms or the naked seeded. So these are the categories of the plants on the basis of the presence or absence of flowers. When the flowers present, then this group is known as the angiosperms, and the flowers are absent, then this group is known as the gymnosperms. So understood children, the importance of flower for the plants. Now we will see here the typical structure of a bisexual flower. Here I will show you the structure bract. What is the meaning of bract? A flower develops as a branch from a bud in the axil of a small leaf like structure. So when the flower arises from the bud on a axis on the branch, at that place it has a leaf like structure. This leaf like structure is known as the bract, and this bract is generally green in color and it is a small structure. So understood the bract. Now the typical structure of flower is described here. But first we'll see here that the flowers, they have many different shapes, sizes, color, number of flower parts here, and the arrangement of these parts. So number of these floral parts are also different, arrangement is also different, shape, size, color also varies in the flowers. So here typical structure of flower, here we are studying, which has all the floral whorls. So here you see generally in a flower that a pedicel. So pedicel or a stalk is a part. With the help of this, the flower is attached with the branch. Then we will see the green color leaves. These are known as the sepals. Then the colored leaves are there. These are known as the petals. Now internally it consists of the reproductive part, the male reproductive part. These are the stamens made up of anther and filament. Then the female reproductive part, that is known as the pistil, made up of the stigma, style and ovary. So these parts you have studied in the previous classes also. Now we will study them in detail. So this is the vertical section of a flower, and here we will see the different parts. So we will start from a part which is known as the pedicel or stalk. So flowers grows here as a specialized branch at the tip of a stalk, and this tip of a stalk is known as the pedicel or a peduncle. Means this pedicel or a peduncle is the part, with the help of this the flowers are attached with the branch of a plant. Now this pedicel, in some plant like tulip, only one pedicel and one flower. Here also you can see here one pedicel and one flower. But in some other cases it may happen that pedicel is branched and this may be branched and bears many flowers. There are some flowers like saffron, in them stalk is absent or this pedicel is absent. So in that case these flowers are known as the sessile flowers. Understood? Flowers without pedicel, they are known as the sessile flowers. Means the flowers those who have pedicel, they are known as the pedicellate flowers, and flowers without the pedicel, they are known as the sessile flowers. Now the next part we will see that this pedicel swells at its tip into a small cup like structure. This cup shaped pad known as the receptacle or thalamus. This thalamus can be flat, conical, concave or dome shaped in different species. So shape of this receptacle also varies. And one more thing, all the floral whorls, they arise from the receptacle. All these floral parts you see here, the sepals, petals and all these, they all arise from the thalamus or the receptacle. And the parts of flower are attached to the receptacle in rings. These rings, they are actually termed as the whorls. Now we'll see what are the different whorls in a flower. So floral whorls. So a flower consists of 4 whorls. What are these 4 whorls? The outermost green colored sepals which you see, these green colored sepals, together they are termed as the calyx. So technically they are known as the calyx. This is a technical term for the sepals. So number of sepals together, they are termed as the calyx. They are usually green in color. Then the second whorl we will see. The second whorl is the corolla. These are the colored petals lying inside the calyx, and this is the colored one. Then inner to it, the male part. You see these are the long filament like structure. You will see all these long filament like structure, they are termed as the stamen. In this you will see a long filament, and at the top of filament anther is there. So this is the male reproductive part where the male gametes are produced in the anther. So the third part, technically known as the androecium. Many stamens together, they form the androecium. Understood? Outermost part calyx, second corolla, and third androecium. That is the male part. So students learn technical terms. of these floral whorls. Then we will see the innermost whorl. This innermost whorl, which is made up of stigma, style and the ovary. So together it is termed as the pistil. This is the female reproductive part of a flower. These are all female parts and technically they are known as the gynoecium. So understood children, 4 floral whorls and their technical terms. Outermost calyx made up of sepals, inner to it corolla made up of petals, inner to it third whorl, that is androecium made up of here made up of stamens. Then the next is the female reproductive part known as the gynoecium made up of stigma, style and ovary. So these are the 4 whorls. Now sometimes it happens that the calyx and corolla, they are undifferentiated. Means undifferentiated means we cannot differentiate between them. Like here you see in this flower, the calyx and corolla we can easily identify because calyx has this green color sepals and the corolla is of that red color petals. So when easily identifiable, then they are the 2 different units, calyx and corolla. But when this calyx and corolla, they are undifferentiated, we cannot differentiate between them, then together they form the perianth. Understood children? This perianth is non-green in color, then it is petaloid. Means when these 2 types of leaves, calyx and corolla, we cannot differentiate, they are of same color, shape and size, then it is termed as the perianth. When this perianth is non-green, means other than green, maybe red, white, any color, then it is known as the petaloid. When it is not green in color, then it is known as the petaloid. But when it is green like the sepal, sometimes it happens this perianth is of green in color like the sepal. So it is known as the sepaloid perianth. So understood children? Perianth means what? When the calyx and corolla, they are undifferentiated, then in this case they are termed as the perianth. So these are the 4 floral whorls and their parts. Now we'll see here another term, that is nectaries. What is nectaries? Nectar is a sweet fragrant liquid secreted by most of the flowers. So what is a nectar? A sweet fragrant liquid secreted by most of the flowers. These flowers have nectar secreting cells and they are known as nectaries. Where are these nectaries found? These nectar secreting cells are found at the base of the pistil or at the base of the petals here. Understood? So this is pistil, at the base of pistil or at the base of petals. These nectar secreting cells are present and they secrete a sweet fragrant liquid. And what is the role of this nectar? This sweet fragrant liquid actually attracts insects. So insects visit the flower in order to suck this nectar. In that manner, these insects help in the pollination, help in the cross pollination. For example, in Nostrium flowers, the nectaries are very large and prominent. So this one more structure is present in the flower which helps them in the pollination. So understood children? All the 4 floral whorls and some the special structures which are present. So let me see the other terms. Pedicel we have done, receptacle also, floral whorls also. Now these floral whorls which we have studied here, they are further classified into 2 groups, essential and non-essential parts. So what are the essential parts or the essential whorls of a flower? So essential parts of a flower are the parts of a flower which are directly concerned with reproduction. You know androecium and gynoecium. Androecium, that is made up of stamens, male part, produces male gamete, and female part, that is known as the pistil or the carpel, produces female gamete. So they are the parts which are participating in the reproduction directly. So these parts which are directly concerned with the reproduction, they are the essential parts of a flower. Which one? That is stamens and carpels, or you can write androecium and gynoecium. Now the non-essential parts, what are the non-essential parts? Those parts of a flower which do not directly take part in the reproduction. They are non-essential. Their function to help in either protecting the reproductive parts or to make the flower attractive for the pollination. How? That you have seen already the petals at here and the sepals also. Sepals are the outermost one, protection. Petals are the part which are brightly colored, scented, so they attract the pollinators for the process of pollination. So they are the non-essential parts because they do not directly take part in reproduction. Understood, children? So they are the non-essential parts of a flower. Next we will see perianth, that I explained you, petaloid and sepaloid. Then nectaries also I explained you. Now one more classification is there, that complete flowers and incomplete flowers. When the flowers, they have all the 4 types of floral structure or the floral whorls. What are these? All the 4 types of floral structure. They are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. When all the 4 floral structure or the floral whorls are present, then the flower is termed as the complete flower. Incomplete flowers. What are incomplete flowers? When any one or more of the floral parts are missing. In this case, it is known as the incomplete flower. Understood, children? When a flower in which any one or more of the floral whorls, they are missing, then in this case, this is the incomplete flower. Their classification further we will see. Now, here the dissection of China rose flower. This is the practical part of your chapter. So, this time we cannot go in the lab, but I will explain you the simple dissection of the this China rose flower is there, or Hibiscus rosa sinensis is the scientific name of this flower. So, we will see here that what are the different parts in this flower. All these parts which we have studied theoretically, now we will see it practically. And you can also get this flower very easily in your surrounding in the gardens also. China rose flower, it is the common name, and Hibiscus rosa sinensis is the botanical name of this flower or the scientific name. So, you go in your surrounding and search there in your garden also, you will get it very in a very easy way. It is available, and this is the flowering season also for this flower. It is found in various other colors also. Here the red color is there, pink and many yellow, golden, many colors are available in this flower, so you can go and see it. So we will study here the different parts of the China rose flower. So when you see the different parts here in the flower, now practically you will see, because that portion which I explained you, that was the theory only. So here you see a real flower and the different parts. Here this is the pedicel. You can see with the help of pedicel, flower is attached to the branch of the plant. Here you can see the long pedicel. Understood? And at this place a small leaf like structure you will see, that is known as the bract. Clear? This is the pedicel. Now after pedicel you will see here the sepals are there. These are the green leaf like structure, part of the calyx. I will show you here. And this is the receptacle. At the tip of pedicel, this swollen part is termed as the receptacle or thalamus, from which all the floral whorls they arise. So understood, children? Here this is the pedicel, this is receptacle, and this is the calyx made up of sepals. outermost wall. But in China rose, one more that part we will see here, the small leaf like structure, smaller than the sepals. These parts, they are termed as the apicalyx. What are they called as? Apicalyx. So it is not necessary that the apicalyx are present in all flowers, but when we study China rose, then we found one more whorl outside of the calyx, which is known as the apicalyx. Next we will see here petals. So next second whorl, that is corolla. You can see here pink color petals. As I said you, it occurs in it is found in red color also, golden color also, various colors are there. So these petals color, it varies. Understood? So these are the petals, parts of the corolla. Then we will see the inner whorl. Here you will see the inner whorl, that is the androecium. You will see here, these are the stamens. In stamens, you see this part is the filament, and above the filament when you see, this is the anther. This anther produces male gamete, which we call them as pollen grains. Understood? And together this anther and filament, they are termed as stamen. So they form the androecium. Then the female reproductive part, we call it as the gynoecium or the pistil or carpel. So gynoecium is made up of many carpels. Each carpel is made up of 3 parts. You can see this is stigma. Now here stigma is not single, stigma is divided into 5 lobe-like structure. So this is stigma. Then you will see here style, it runs through this staminal tube, because here the filaments of all the stamens unite and they form a tube-like structure that is known as the staminal tube. And inside that staminal tube, style runs, and here the ovary located. So these are all the outer parts. Now we will see the inner part. Okay, so when you remove these whorls, then you will find all these parts like this. Here you can see the apicalyx and calyx, and these are the corolla. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are the corolla. And here you will see male and female reproductive parts together. Understood, children? These are the stamens. These stamens are attached on this staminal tube, and this is the anther and this one is the filament. So many stamens. These are the male reproductive part, and this is the female reproductive part. You see, this is stigma, this white color structure, this is style. It runs here through the staminal tube, and at the base of it you will see the ovary. Now further we'll cut it vertically. So when we cut the flower vertically, then you see, so it is very easy to cut this flower in the vertical section. With the help of a sharp blade, we'll cut the flower from the middle. When we cut it, then we'll see these different parts. What are the different parts? Again I'll show you. This is the pedicel, calyx, corolla. Now here internally you will see this is ovary. This ovary contains ovules in it. Understood, children? These are the anther and filament and stigma and the style which runs through this staminal tube. So in this manner, dissection of China rose flower is done in the lab, and this you can do at your home also. This flower is easily available, and suppose if you will not get this flower, you can see all these parts in other flowers also. Understood? Now here more that closure view of all these parts we will see. See, this is the apicalyx, this is the calyx. Now internally you will see this is the ovary. Inside the ovary you will see the placenta, on which these are the small ovules which are attached. Understood? This is seen in the vertical section of the flower very clearly. Then you will see this is ovary. Above the ovary you will see this fine thin white color structure. This is known as the style. This style goes upwards and then it is attached with the stigma. Understood? And this is the staminal tube. As I showed you earlier also, that the filaments of all these stamens, they together combine and form the staminal tube. Inner side of this staminal tube, this style runs, and at the top of style we have seen the stigma. So this is the vertical section of the China rose flower. So students, you can do it at your home also. So all these parts which I have explained you can study all these parts in other flowers also. Now, after the dissection of this China rose flower, we'll see the arrangement of the floral whorls. As I said you, that the calyx is the outermost part which is made up of sepals. Sepals are generally green in color, look like small leaves that cover an unopened floral bud. In some plants like in gulmohar, they may be colored. In that case, they are known as the petaloid sepals, means at that time they are the perianth. Understood, children? Now, the arrangement of sepals, we will see that when the sepals are free, you can see these are the free sepals, as it happens in mustard or radish. So when the sepals are free, then in this case, this condition is known as the polysepalous condition. So students, now the technical terms are there, you learn them in a proper way. Here you can see these are the sepals, and these sepals are free from each other. They are not fused with each other, all arising from the thalamus and not fused, they are free. So this condition, when the sepals are free, this is known as the polysepalous condition. Now another condition is there when the sepals are fused. Okay, when the sepals are fused, then they form a cup-like structure. You can see it forms a cup-like structure, and this condition is known as the gamosepalous, as it is found in the China rose flower. When you see the China rose flower, this that cup shape of the calyx you will see, where all the sepals are united, and this condition is known as the gamosepalous. So understood, children? Polysepalous and gamosepalous. Same condition is found in the petals also. Like when the petals are fused, then they are the gamopetalous, and when the these petals are free, then they are known as the polypetalous. So understood, children? Two conditions in the case of calyx: gamosepalous, polysepalous. When the sepals are free, then this condition is known as the polysepalous, and when the sepals are fused, then it is known as the gamosepalous. So these are different conditions. Now, what is the function of calyx? So you can see here the calyx encloses and protects the inner walls of the flower when it is in the bud stage. Since the sepals contain chlorophyll, because they are green in color, you can see in both the flowers, they are green in color. So since the sepals contain chlorophyll, they can also synthesize the food with the help of photosynthesis. Together with the petals, they also attract the birds and insects for pollination. So these are the functions of calyx. So arrangement of the calyx, unit of the calyx, and functions of the calyx we have studied. So students, see all these points in the book also. Now we'll see the corolla. Corolla is the second wall. So in corolla also I told you that the corolla is made up of the brightly colored leaves, and these brightly colored leaves, they are known as the petals. So corolla is most conspicuous part in the flower because it is usually white or brightly colored. Now corolla forms the second wall from outside inner to the calyx, and this wall is made up of petals which are much larger than the sepals, because we have seen the sepals are comparatively smaller. And now the number of petals, they vary in a flower. 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes many petals are there. Okay, so numbers are varying. In sepals also the numbers are varying, petals also they are varying in number. Now in some flowers the petals are green in color. Like here you have seen all the petals are of different colors other than green. But when the petals are green in color, then they are known as the sepaloid petals, as we have studied in the sepals. So when the sepals are not green, known green, then they are known as the petaloid sepals. Here also the same case when the petals are green. Usually petals are of different colors, but here petals are green like the sepals, then they are known as the sepaloid petals. Now again the arrangement of the petals I explained you already. Two conditions, polypetalous and gamopetalous. What is polypetalous? Polypetalous when these petals are free. I'll show you in these flowers. These are the petals. They are not fused with each other. Here also you can see the petals are free. So when the petals are means free, or petals may be separate from each other, then this condition is known as the polypetalous. Like in mustard flower it is found. You can see both these flowers with the free petals, and this condition is known as the polypetalous condition or polypetalous corolla. Now another condition, like in a petunia, where the petals are fused. Petals may be partly or completely fused. So in that case, this condition is known as the gamopetalous corolla, or we can call it the united petals. So understood? Polypetalous condition and gamopetalous condition. Now when the petals are fused, they form a corolla tube. You can see here, this is the corolla tube. So students, these are the different conditions in the corolla, which is the second one. And now what is the function of the corolla? As I said you that the corolla has all the petals of different colors. So brightly colored corolla attracts agents of pollination such as insects and birds. Some petals are scented also. Yes, fragrance is produced by them. With a nectary. Nectary I already explained you. At the base of the ovary or at the base of the petals you will see some nectar secreting cells known as the nectaries, which produces sugary nectar. And the insects and birds come to collect this nectar, and while doing so they transfer the pollen from one flower to another. And the corolla encloses and protects the stamens and the pistil. So understood children? These are the functions of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored and showy leaf-like structure in day blooming flower. So flowers which bloom at the daytime, they have brightly colored petals, whereas they are strongly scented and white in color in night blooming flower. So when we see the night blooming flower, in them the petals are white in color and they are strongly scented. So this help the insects to attract towards the flower during the night time, this white color petals. Understood? And at the daytime bright color, and the fragrance too. So this is the second one. So student, this is the today's that part of this chapter. We have completed the importance of the flower for the plants, the classification of the plants on the basis of absence and the presence of flowers, and the typical structure of a flower, dissection of a China rose flower, and calyx and corolla and their arrangement. And now remaining part, androecium, gynoecium and their arrangement, we will do in the next lecture. So read the chapter from the book also. solve the middle exercises and ask